like that, Fitzy.
You could turn up the bass just a little.
Good morning, everybody. It is Positive Tuesday today, November 10th, 2020. As you can see, my father, former Washburn County Sheriff Terry Dryden, is joining us this morning. We have lots to chat about today, including the recent election, the impending snowstorm. Fitzy, hopefully you have a weather update for us.
I do.
COVID-19, of course, some recent spikes down in Barron County, and Dad's recent heart attack, obviously, and a whole bunch more. So for Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. Fitzy, did you know that ICAA has a lab program?
Yeah. I did not. I'm learning about that. I just learned last week. I just talked to Tom from ICA last week.
Oh, see, I didn't know anything about this until he sent this last night. So I actually do a little bit. But LAV is ICAA's Legal Assistance for Victims program, which serves survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault in, well, there's a lot of counties: Barron, Burnett, Clark, Polk, Price, Russ, Sawyer, Taylor, and Washburn counties. Their LAV advocates help connect eligible clients to free legal representation for things like divorce, separation, child custody and placement, child support, restraining orders, unemployment compensation, access to fair and affordable housing, and other areas that ensure safety and independence of victims and survivors. For more information and for a full list of services, find them on Facebook or check out their website at indianheadcaa.org. Well, there's a lot to get to, but I looked at it a little bit this morning, and like we talked last week, it's just crazy how many programs that they have that I didn't even know about. So, gentlemen, good morning. How are all you guys?
I'm wonderful. I'm good.
No, that's it?
I'm good. It's good to see Chris again. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time, TD. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Doing better than I was on July 11th.
Right. So we always start the show talking about anything that's been going on in our lives since our last chat. Well, Dad, the last time because you've co-hosted some shows in the past with some of our guests, obviously the last time you were on, or since the last time you were on, you had a heart attack on July 11th.
Yeah, that was kind of different. If I was out cutting trees with my neighbor on our property, and all of a sudden I keeled over, and of course I don't have memory of it because I had a little bit of stroke to boot. But good thing Dave Wilson was there, my chief of police at Shell Lake, because I was dead in the driveway, man. I was dead in the driveway. Hadn't been for Dave, I would have been toast.
We don't really like talking highly of Dave on this show.
we want to keep it going. He's been a good friend for years. But the last time I cut wood, he was saying, I just cut wood about 2 weeks ago. We finished up what we started on July 11th, and he asked if I was still okay. And I said, yeah, I'm okay yet. So I didn't keel over that day. So that was good. Yeah, that was an interesting month. I spent a month and lost 30 pounds, and not the hard way, but I lost it. I got some of it back, but not a lot of it yet.
That's one way to lose weight.
Yeah, I got it. No doubt about it. The Lord was watching over me that day. That's for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. And I see when on Facebook, every time I see you on there, it seems like you're always at, what is that, not Bed Bath Beyond, but the Body Works one in Rice Lake, I think.
Yeah, something BWW or something like that. Yeah, Bath and Body Works or something like that.
Yeah, stop spending my inheritance.
Yeah, well, I'm starting to spend more money nowadays. Your brother said the same thing. Quit spending our money.
Well, we'll get into a little bit more about, obviously, I kind of want to hear a little more about the story, because you and I have obviously talked about your heart attack, but I don't know, it'd be kind of neat to get in a little bit. But Chris, what has been up with you in the last week?
Nothing, man, and just enjoying the weather. How about that last weekend? It was beautiful. Oh man, it was fabulous, and it's probably going to change tonight, but we'd live with that. We know it's coming in Northwest Wisconsin. We're used to it. We just hope to not have 40 some accidents like we had during the last snowstorm. So make your travel plans early tonight, and it sounds like it's by 6 p.m. ish. We're going to see some snow. Probably not very positive, but we just got to make sure everybody gets home safe. But the weather this weekend was beautiful, and just spent a lot of time outside putting up Christmas decorations. And just enjoying it. You got it, man. It's warm out.
We were doing a lot of work this week. I ran out of things to do outside. It was so nice. Yeah. I ran out of things. And so then Diane thought I should start inside. Well, that didn't work so well. But anyway, but you're right. Now we're supposed to get some ice or snow, ice in the morning too, possibly. So, for Pete's sake. But nice thing about my life, I don't have to worry about it. See, I can stay home and plow the driveway, and I don't have to worry about getting out and helping people. And so that's one good thing.
Yeah. So, Fitzy, I didn't know you had 40 accidents. The last one wasn't even that much, was it?
Yeah. Well, there was quite a bit of snow, and it's that first snowfall, and it was just at that prime time of 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. And it was, everybody was going home from school and work. And so when it happens in that 2 to 7 p.m. range, we always get a lot of accidents. And so we're asking people to be prepared. I think we'll be okay this time. I think we'll get the kids home from school and things like that. But by 7 p.m., it's probably, who knows? I mean, I'm not the weatherman, but
what? Why do we have you on then?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, did you see some of the models are saying 2 inches to 8 inches? I mean, it's like.
I know. You know what? It's like the polls for the election, right? One has someone win by 5 points. The other one has a win by 17 points. None of these people should have jobs right now. But yeah, weather people just between 1 and 12.
What do you want to talk about the election?
The only job in the world where you can be 50% of the time you could be wrong and you're still going to keep your job.
You want to talk election, Ben? Since you were like perfect on your predictions, is that what you're bragging about?
What? That's a segue. I think we call that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, I'm feeling very confident. Isn't the word? I'd say cocky, probably. Like, ask me anything, I'll predict it. I was 7 for 7. Now, I'm officially 7 for 7 for the unofficial results. Right, so I had Tiffany winning, Staff Schultz, Milroy, and that was a close one. I didn't see that one.
Milroy was close.
Yeah.
Was close.
Beth Myers, Dave Armstrong down in your district, Fitzy, Gay Magnifici, and then of course Biden. But obviously that's who knows.
And then Beth Myers, the Myers one was pretty close too. I was surprised at that. I was surprised that he was that close to her.
Yeah, I'm literally calling him the 49er now. That's my name for him because last time he ran, he was against Janet Bewley in the Senate, and he lost 51-49. And now he ran in the Assembly, and he lost 51-49. Yeah. All right. So, what is it, Fitzy, going on down there? What do you want to talk about today?
Well, obviously we probably better bring up COVID. We've had a spike again in Northwest Wisconsin, and not just Barron County. It's all of our counties. I mean, obviously the Barron County numbers, when you look at them compared to Washburn and Rusk and different, are bigger, but our populations are bigger. We're 3 times the size of Washburn County, so our numbers should be about 3 times. So, we had over 100 and a couple hundred cases over the last 5-6 days, and it's just got to slow down. Our hospitals are reaching capacity, our staffing levels at different areas. It's so much not, and I understand this, and I don't know that this is the case for each hospital. So, but it's not bed space so much; it's staffing sometimes, where your staffing has COVID or close contacts or whatever it is, why they're out. So you're not producing staff. I know one of our schools closed their high school because of staffing levels. They left their elementary schools open, but they closed their middle and high school this week until their staff can get back in session. So they went to online school because some of these teachers are close contact, meaning they can't be in the school, but yet they're not sick, so they can still teach. So we're doing a lot of virtual things. I mean, our teachers, again, and we've commented on how great our teachers have been. Our teaching staff across the Northwest Wisconsin have done a fabulous job of keeping our kids going forward, moving forward, doing all the things that they need to do, whether it be close contact or even some of them have had COVID and they're teaching sick because they're not really sick. COVID hits each of us differently. We've talked about that on all of our shows. I see one of the questions is there any chance for another shutdown? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't see that coming because people are working through this in different ways. So we just got to keep working through it and handling it and wearing our mask and social distancing and just staying away or staying home if we can. Give us a couple weeks here to get caught up. Our public health is maxed in all of our areas. There's our mask, but they've been pushed to the limit here, and we've got to just give them a chance to slow down. So I don't see a shutdown coming, but again, I'm not in charge of that. So not locally. I mean, it'll become from a statewide. It'll never be we asked for a regional area when we had the first shutdown, and they didn't give us that. So I know they won't give us that again. But our again, our teachers are great. Our medical staff is doing all they can, and that's a truly. And Julie, speaking of Julie, she just got a large grant for our first responders. She, as part of a committee over in Cumberland, and she got a large grant for our Barron County first responders. So thanks, Julie, for that. We appreciate all the work she does for that. She helped start that team up years ago, and she's been a great partner to the Sheriff's Department. But yeah, she's right. Our teachers are phenomenal.
Going back. Sorry, Dad, but going back to the the shutdown. Yeah, so part of it is like I can't even keep up with. Okay, so is the mandate still in place? Or I mean, I still wear a mask where I go anywhere, and then it's like, nope, now it isn't. Nope, now it is, and nope, now it isn't. It's I can't really keep up with what's going on. But the you had talked about public health, and they do a phenomenal job. And we've talked about that, and we've given them so much praise in Barron County. Not that others aren't doing an exceptional job as well, but specifically we've talked about Barron County public health. So on Friday, I think there was 7 additional deaths, which went to, I think at the time, 16. Obviously, all of our numbers, so we're consistent when we publish those at 2 o'clock. Those are from DHS. And sometimes there's a little delay if these things were notified after this cutoff time in the morning for DHS before they get the numbers. And then on Saturday, it still didn't update that on DHS. And on Sunday, it still didn't. It still showed 11. And I'm thinking maybe it's the weekend. I don't know. But all the other numbers are updated. And then on yesterday, Monday, same thing, still just 11. And then, of course, we did the 2 o'clock numbers. And shortly after that, we got another notification that now you're up to 21. So I don't know what we're going to see today. I know you're not, the weatherman and you're not public health. But in your meetings or conversations, do you know why that stuff doesn't get, why we're still showing those numbers? Because I get a lot of emails. And thankfully, they're very nice. Just, hey, heads up. Actually, it's this many. And it's, I can just go off of DHS, man. That's it.
Right. And no, I do not know how those numbers get transplanted here or there. I just know they're coming from, obviously, they're 70 to 95 years old with underlying health conditions. But COVID is a factor in some of them. I know as part of our Facebook and some of the comments that we follow that there's been someone that said, my grandma or my relative was one of them. And it's not because of COVID. It's because she was 94 and she hadn't been eating before COVID. All these other things that went on. So, it doesn't matter. I mean, we got to get beyond this. We've got to get beyond this election. We've got to get beyond a lot of things here. And we've just got to start taking care of each other and ourselves. And that's what we do on this show is just tell people, you know what, it's time to put whatever it is aside and let's move forward and let's go make a difference. And that's what we do every day.
So I know that we had talked before about last Tuesday, so that was election day, that we were really looking forward to Wednesday, the next day, because, then we wouldn't be, hopefully, like your Facebook news feed, not nearly as much negative and politics stuff. And that day, Tuesday, and most of Wednesday, it was great, right? I mean, I enjoyed looking at my Facebook news feed. It was, you know what, guys, no matter who wins, and that's fine. And yeah, that quickly changed.
Yeah, very.
Now we're back to the other stuff again. And it's like, ow, like we can't control it. I mean, just come on, man, just move on, right? Just relax.
Yeah, well, we got to let people count ballots and finalize all these numbers, and we'll see what happens when the dust settles. But it's probably not going to change, and people are moving forward. And there's been some of our other ex-presidents have already sent letters to Biden and to Trump and all this other stuff. And it's just we've got to bring this community together and this county and this country together. And the three of us can't do it. I know that, but you know what? We can take care of our little corners of the world. And Terry, you had a lot of experience over the years of, bringing your county together. And I mean, it's just something that we do as sheriffs, and we don't realize sometimes the power that we have as sheriffs to bring people together or through the embrace thing, to learn, man, it really tear it apart kind of, but you know what? Right. A lot of good has come out of that. But as you know, Terry, a lot of things, you can do a lot as a sheriff and more than you think. And it's been, and I know it was an honor for you to serve, and it's an honor for me to serve, but it's fun.
Yeah. And, I was thinking about that the other day is we as sheriffs, the sitting sheriffs right now, the retired ones, not so much, but the sitting sheriff, when we were sitting, it's like, just, we may not like necessarily what comes down from the legislature. We may not like the laws that are passed. We may not agree with the laws that are passed. I'll take a look at the smoking thing. When the smoking ban came out, all public buildings, you couldn't smoke. And of course, they threw that back on law enforcement. So there's an avenue, and the DHS would get a letter from somebody that's an employee that they're smoking in their bar. Well, then they send a letter to us, and then we'd have to go out and check. We didn't want to be smoking police, just like we don't want to be the COVID mask police. But you know what? It's about, I like what you said, your information that you sent out, and also the Burnett County Sheriff, she sent out was basically, look, we may not like it, and we don't have time to go around and watch everybody's face, okay? We just don't have time to do it. But we will do our job. If it comes to the push comes to shove, we'll do our job. But I think it's really important that we all take time and just say, if masks save lives, why aren't we doing it? I'm sorry, I just feel that way. And I wear mine. I have my DrydenWire one on, and then I put it on when I go into a place. And, it's just the right thing to do, I think.
Right. And we met with the governor, and as sheriffs, and, we were hoping that we'd get a little bit more, input into it. But I understand they have to make decisions. It's a life and death thing. And we will enforce it, just like if it gets passed into a law, just like the smoking thing. It's a law. We have to enforce it. We do it. And the mask thing has been up in the air, and our DAs have been involved in this. And so it's got to be clear cut for us to do something. But everybody's doing their part. I know our numbers are up, places, I know the casino closed last night for 30 days. And they chose to do that. They weren't mandated. It's not because of anything that they did. They chose to do this to help our community, whether it's a staffing thing or they just wanted a deep clean or whatever their reason, and they care about the community. I'm sure it's a little bit of all three, because they've been a partner in this COVID fight with us for the whole time here. So they work with our public health and talk to them.
I agree, and it's just like the old days. I don't know if you remember, Chris, or not, but the old spearfishing days when we had all the landing fights, and we were supposed to go there and protect all the Native Americans who were spearing because of some of the people that were upset about it. There are a lot of sheriffs that didn't like that either, and they weren't going to go. And well, as it turns out, is that the governor passes, he passes the mandate. You have to do it, as you well know. The governor can relieve the sheriff if he is not doing his duties. It's the only one that can relieve it, other than the electors. Yeah. But it's really a shame that it's all, you got the radical left, you got the radical right, and you got people that say it's all a bunch of baloney. Well, I don't know. When I look at the medical experts, I say we have to be careful. We have to really be careful.
Nope. Former Washburn County Sheriff Terry Dryden is joining us today on Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. ICAA's Legal Assistance for Victims program serves survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault in multiple counties. Their lab advocates help connect eligible clients to free legal representation. For more information and for a full list of services, check them out on Facebook or their website at IndianHeadCAA.org. Dad, if you were still the sheriff and you were going through this, the safer at home and all this stuff, when you look around, you kind of mentioned Fitzy and his approach, or what he was kind of viewing all this as well as the Burnett County Sheriff Tracy Finch. What would you have done during this whole time? I mean, I'm sure, like, now you're retired, but you have to still look at this because you did it for 28 years. And
I did actually. Actually, when it all started, I said, well, what sheriff should be doing right now is, and it was my opinion, I would have done exactly what Tracy and what Chris would have done. Put it out in the paper saying, look, we may not like it, but the law of the land is we're going to obey the law of the land. As a sheriff, as law enforcement, we should be setting the example for people, cooperating with the authorities, whether we like it or not. That's the way life is. And I agree. I agree wholeheartedly with Chris's statement and Tracy's. It was absolutely phenomenal. They basically said, look, we don't like it anymore, anybody else, but we're going to do it because it's the right thing to do.
Sure. Fitzy, if you looking back at all of this now and where we are right now, specifically for you in Barron County, would there be anything you would have done differently from a law enforcement standpoint, from a sheriff's standpoint?
Well, obviously, you can Monday morning quarterback all day long.
Right, that's what we're totally doing right now, except Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. Well, only it's Tuesday, right? It's Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday. Right. But, if you look at it, we shouldn't have been in a lockdown probably back then. We should be in a lockdown now. mean, if you really look at the number of cases, we had 30 cases that time. And we were worried about 30 cases. We get 30 cases an hour here. I mean, now.
Yeah.
And so, but everybody's doing their own thing and they live through that. And so we probably but maybe if we didn't lock down then, maybe we would have had those many cases sooner. I don't know the answer to that. That's a scientific part of this that it's hard to understand for everybody to understand, but we've got to stop this bullying on Facebook. I mean, if there's one thing that is really irritating right now is people that are criticizing us for not doing it, and then they're criticizing us for doing it. And we've got citizens that are out there just bullying people because they think, oh my gosh, you got COVID because you sent your kids to school, and I would never send my kids to school, or this or that, or you went to the store, or I saw you at church. And well, if you saw me at church, you were there too, but the bullying has to stop on Facebook. You did this because of this, and you're bad now, and it's got to come to an end. The election's over, we've got to do it, but we've got to do some of this stuff. And
don't you love all the conspiracy theories out there on Facebook? All those theories about, this is all fake, it's all below. I mean, they have so many. It's just like the John F. Kennedy conspiracy theory. It's all over again. It's like, come on.
Which one?
I get sick of hearing
about what?
Kennedy.
Kennedy
conspiracy
not that,
theory.
but what are the conspiracy theories about wearing a mask? That it just doesn't
work.
They do help. The government is just purposely doing this because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I just don't want to get it because even like what Fitzy, what you went through, you were stayed home, and thankfully it wasn't. You didn't have all like the horrible parts that come with it, and of course you lived. That's also kind of a bonus.
That's a plus. That's a plus.
I just don't want to be in quarantine for 14 days. Because that will just screw with my head. Because even though I could probably literally just work from home for 14 days, no big deal. Like without COVID, it'd be fine. But as soon as I'm told I can't leave, man, I just don't want to. So if I just wear a mask and social distance, okay, that's it, right?
But
it's not that tough.
That's the point. But that's the point. I mean, if we don't want that to happen, we've got to start taking some better steps. And some of our businesses are doing that now. And so we just got to do a few more little things that are going to make a big difference. It's little things that make a big difference. Well, now is the time. Let's step up, Barron County, Washburn County, wherever you are, and let's. You know what? I don't need to go to Eau Claire shopping. I don't need to go to Bath and Body Works. There's your out, Terry.
Nobody else was in there, by the way.
Yeah. And you always do have your mask on when you take your pictures there. Yeah.
But if you do need to go get something, wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands. I mean, we've got to do some of that. But, we've seen a lot of parties. We're worried about Thanksgiving. We've had this discussion in my family of should we have Thanksgiving or not. And, I have some family from out of the area, so we're probably not going to. I don't know. I mean, I can't get it. I'm safe supposedly for about 90 days. Or more, you can't get it, you can't give it. So, but there's so many unknowns on this. But with that information yesterday about Pfizer and a vaccine 90% effective, I mean, those are always good things that happen. We're going to get through this. It's just going to take a little bit more time, and we want to do the best we can to save as many people as we can from not only death but just getting sick. Our kids are recovering pretty quick. It's pretty good from a school standpoint, so our kids are doing a good job. And so let's take a lesson from our kids again, and let's just social distance, wear a mask. They got to wear masks in school all day long. They don't want to do it either, but they're doing it. Our teachers are doing a fabulous job, so let's learn from our kids and just make a difference here for another month or 2 months or even 3 months. What's the big deal? It's 3 months. Let's just.
I know what you're talking about Thanksgiving, because I kind of called it off for our family because 22 people in our house. They come from Minnesota and southern Wisconsin and all over. It's just that, is it worth the risk? Is it literally worth the risk to infect an old guy like myself? My grandma and I are of the age, and we have the health issues now that we both do, that we're susceptible to this thing. Why do we want to take the risk? I would feel terrible if one of my grandkids got it because they came into my house. So
exactly.
I don't know.
And you called it this is over a month ago. You let
Long
us all
time
know,
ago.
We're canceling Thanksgiving, and that was over a month ago is when you did that.
And that's over 50 years. That's how many? 52 years we've had Thanksgiving in our house, and this is the first time we've ever had to call it off. but
Yeah,
I think it's the right thing to do.
I think so too. And actually, right now, because I don't wear a regular mask, we have the neck gaiters for the DrydenWire neck gaiter.
Right.
So actually, I find that I'm just wearing it when I'm just outside right now. Well, not last week because it was nice out, but even like this morning, I had my stocking cap on and that on when I got in my Jeep this morning and came to work because it's kept my face warm. And nothing to do with safety. Fitzy, do you have any updates on your team?
Oh yeah, our team is meeting. We picked the first 8 of our citizen action team. They're meeting tomorrow's Wednesday. Tomorrow night we're meeting by Zoom, and they're going to choose the other 8. They voted. I'm actually sending the results to them right now. And so our first team meeting is tomorrow night. We're going to talk about some maybe some different people that we didn't maybe reach out and get to, and some different corners of the county. We want to make sure they're all covered. So our team is meeting. Our first 8 got introduced to each other, and so they're very excited. I mean, Terry and I were talking when you were setting up, and it's just great. The good that's come out of this is far beyond the bad, and we're making some progress, and and we're back at the table, or going to be back at the table very shortly with Embrace to talk about some of these issues. Good. So there's some, it was brought up at a county board meeting. DHS Director Frolick and I are trying to find a date to get back at the table with Embrace. That date will come shortly. She's got to finish up a couple COVID things, and she's very busy with that. So we're getting through the COVID part of this and working with public health, because she's in charge of public health also. So that takes a priority. And but we'll be back at the table, hopefully having some discussions so that we can put some of these issues behind us, move forward in 2021, and everybody will be on the same page, and victims will be served. And victims are still being served. There's been no change to any victim services in Barron County at all. And Embrace is still helping our victims as we speak.
Well, and these are the things that you and I have talked about many times on our show on many different topics, that we can find a positive that comes out of, not necessarily negative, but in any situation, any circumstance, you can come out of it stronger. And sometimes things just need to happen. And when it does, it's the one step back, 2 steps forward. But I don't know. I see so many good things coming out of this, and I'm so glad to hear that Embrace is you're going to be sitting down hopefully soon and having that discussion. I can't wait to hear about some updates on that. But for the people who are listening who may not have heard a couple of weeks ago when you talked about it, can you give a quick recap of what this team is and why it started?
Sure. It obviously started over a lot of passion over the Embrace issue, both on the sides of law enforcement, and it's anger. Yeah.
Passion. They were mad. Let's face it. Okay. They were mad. Yeah. They got called racist. So it's
right.
Murdering
on both sides, though. I mean, we had a lot of support for law enforcement, a lot of support for Embrace, and I wanted to bring those two together. And so I said, you know what, if you guys have this much passion about this, and it really started over the Kloss case years ago. It's weird to say that. Yeah. But the Kloss case brought so many people together, and they all wanted to help, and I didn't have anything for them to do. And it was very frustrating. And I said, man, there's so many people that want to do good in the world. Let's do something with that. And then this Embrace thing happened, and I'm like, so many people were passionate about it. And I said, let's do something about that. Let's bring something together. So I literally a couple ladies, one from Florida and one from Cumberland and one from Milwaukee, sent me letters saying, you know what, I think you should put together a team. And I'm like, you know what, you have an idea there. And so I put this email out there, and I said, let's start this citizen advisory and action team. They don't have any power. But they can advise me and work on different issues, and not just the Embrace issue, but maybe it's a race issue, maybe it's a economic issue, maybe it's a access issue to services that we as sheriffs, learning that the sheriffs have a little bit more power than sometimes we think. I think we can do a lot more things. It's through our connections, Terry. You're just connected with everybody as the sheriff because they come to you to help you solve a lot of problems. So you get a lot of favors, and you do a lot of helping each other's organization, and say, hey, maybe it's time for a little payback here. Let's do this, and maybe we can make this work, and maybe we can make it easy for people to get this service or whatever it is. And so this committee was formed. I didn't want to pick all the team members because I didn't want it to be the sheriff's team. So these are people that have written me letters that said, you know what, you're dumb, and you should do this better. And so I brought some of those people in. I brought obviously some people that support us, and they were chosen 8, and they're going to pick another 5 to 8 people, and we're going to have a 16-member team, and we're going to try to make a difference in Barron County.
So what's next? What's on the agenda next for the team?
Well, actually, we've got to pick the team, and then we're going to reach out and pick the other members of the team tomorrow night. They'll accept, and then in December we'll meet. We'll introduce each other, and we'll talk about some ideas. And I have a few, obviously. Maybe the Embrace one will be taken care of, but I know that's the number one item for a few of our players, is to make sure Embrace or services to victims are available in 2021 to the same level that they are currently. I know that's the concern. Whether we switch agencies or we go to a different one, I mean, that's still up in the air, but obviously we're going to go back to the table with Embrace, so I think that'll be taken care of. There's some equality issues out there that some people have brought up that maybe we can access and talk about them. So I plan on doing some sort of press release when this team meets every time. And so we've got a grant we've written for them to have some money to maybe hold a picnic, or to bring in a speaker, or to bring a flyer or whatever. So that if that grant gets approved, we'll have some money for this team to use to make a difference. So a lot of good things are going to come out of this, and a lot of great things have come out of this already. And we all learn from everything that goes on. Every decision we make is not a popular one. Terry knows that. Whether it's changing squad cars or, the Embrace thing. I mean, every decision you make gets criticized, and that's okay, because we learn from all of those. And there's been a lot of passion, though. You don't learn from your mistakes?
None. No. I'm too bullheaded. I get that from my old man, but no, I don't. Nope.
Yeah. So looking forward to it, and very excited.
Oh, that is so cool.
That's a really good concept, Chris. I'm really pleased to hear that, and I wish the rest of folks would do the same. But I'm assuming Embrace is part of your committee.
At this time, they're not. That'll be a decision. Okay. That's one of their topics for tomorrow night.
All right.
But because I think it's bigger than Embrace, and I don't want it to be about Embrace. I want it to be bigger than Embrace, and and so I think it's going to be good. Actually, there's no county board members on it because.
Oh.
And so we don't want that, because then you have to. Then they have some. You know how you get a county board meeting, you got to post meetings, you got to do this, you got to do certain things.
So besides that, you get politics involved, and you don't want that.
Right.
What?
And I don't. Exactly. And I want this team to have authority to talk about what they want to talk about. Actually, no media is invited right now. That's another decision for tomorrow night. Do we want someone from the media to serve on this team? But my plan if they don't want somebody, is to send out a press release about what this team talks about. But those are things we'll talk about, and it's hard to not, because we're not going to meet in person, so it's a little bit more difficult to get started. But we're going to give it a shot, and hopefully in January we can meet in person. That would be my goal. When COVID slows down, we'll be able to meet in person.
Yeah, if I had a vote in there, I would say no on the media. I really would.
Well, people are hesitant to say things when everything is written down. They're hesitant to say what's really on their mind and really on their heart. Yeah. And I think in this particular case, this committee has to have the freedom to say what is truly bothering them, or what is best for the community. And the radical people out there, I'm going to tell you, if they're radical, right or left, you're radical. And you're going to hammer good folks that want to try to do their best, and they're going to get, pretty soon they're going to say, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, because going to what you were saying, Fitzy, that to not have it like a meeting and agendas and minutes, because that's kind of like what media would do. You show up and you take the notes and you do a story, and plus that may put the media outlet in a tough situation where maybe they have to do a story on something, and it contradicts or something that the committee is about, and they're doing an investigative story or something. I don't know. It's just, man, there's obviously that's for other people. That would be my vote. I'd probably just leave them out, to be honest.
Right. No, we'll talk about it. We'll see.
All right, cool.
Media, yeah.
Yeah, you can't trust media, man.
Yeah,
I see the things on Facebook, what was it last week, about the election stuff, that is like, there's more people voted than registered voters. I'm like, no, that is not accurate. The number you're using is like 3.1 million. That's from 2018 registered voters. That was in the midterms. November 1st, we had like 3.7 million. So, no. But it's frustrating. All right, anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything that, I don't know, anything going on this week?
I don't. What are you doing all week, Terry?
Yeah,
Snow.
Just the snow.
That's it. Wow.
I'll be plowing in the morning.
I just got a text message from my highway director, Mark Servey. You know Mark.
I know Mark.
Yeah. He said no zoom in the slicky slick, and so it must mean it's gonna be slippery out tonight. So no zooming tonight, according to Mark Servey.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Mark used to be the highway superintendent up in Washburn. Then he was a trader and moved to Barron. I call him the trader. Yeah. He moved to Barron.
He came to the big leagues.
Yeah. No.
And now he's getting a new highway building. So it's
is he really? Nice I was wondering when that was going to happen.
Yeah, it's very old. I mean, it's old. I mean, their building is they needed a new building, so I'm very happy for the county's done a very good job and financially, and Mark has worked very hard on his building there, and very excited about that. And maybe he'll be.
Where are they putting it?
They're going to put it right in the same spot here, right across just down from behind Genio and right there.
Yep.
So maybe you guys can have Mark on and talk about that. All the snow and pre-treating of roads. I mean, it's really interesting. I learned a lot from being sheriff. That you spend a lot of time with the highway director, how they pre-treat the roads and when they pre-treat them, and the temperature when they put salt versus sand down. I mean, it's a science, and they do a great job both in Washburn and Barron counties. We have good highway departments, and so maybe have Mark Servey.
All right.
Yeah, that'd be good. And then also the use of brine. I didn't realize. I was sheriff of the use of brine, just brine in the bridge decks, or they put this chemical on the bridge decks prior to a snowstorm or ice storm, I should say. But it's amazing what you learn as sheriff when it comes to roads. I didn't realize they did all they did.
If you guys want to
not just being a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You guys continue your coffee talk after the show.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Sorry, I had a question there from Dan Harrington. I'll see if I can get it back up because I don't know the answer to this at all. I don't think either of you do. Are there any plans for such a committee in Washburn County? Not that I'm aware of, but I haven't heard anything. Maybe there is. No clue. So.
I haven't heard either. So.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, thanks so much, Dad. Thank you for jumping on. That was fun. We'll have you back on again. Fitzy, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, always been a pleasure. And just everybody drive safe tonight, and just stay safe out there from COVID and the snow, and we'll get through this, and we'll just keep living our lives. And we got through the election. We can get through anything.
Yeah, and try to be positive on social media, man, because that affects people's lives, dude. It just does. It sucks your energy when you see all that stuff. Just knock it off.
You take care of the family, Chris. You hear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You got it. You too. See you guys.
All right. Special thank you to our guest today, former Washburn County Sheriff Terry Dryden. For Sheriff Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy. Presented by ICAA. ICA's Legal Assistance for Victims program serves survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault in multiple counties. Their lab advocates help connect eligible clients to free legal representation. For more information and a full list of services, find them on Facebook. Oh, Dad's gone. That's awesome. On Facebook, or check out the website at IndianHeadCAA.org. Until next week, stay safe, keep your social distance, and as always, have a blessed day.